Good morning, folks. Oh, it's actually turned out quite a nice, beautiful day here at the moment. I wanted to make a video that might help to explain some of the reasons behind a couple of things that have happened recently, and also to address some health issues that people have mentioned and stuff in comments quite a lot. And I thought if I made one video that it might help to explain it, you know. I'm hoping that's the case. This might be a complete mistake, and maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I have made some bullet point notes because I need something to relate back to. So let's start off with this health issue. I know that there's a lot of breathlessness in a lot of the videos and stuff, and I'm hoping this might try and kind of explain that a little bit better. Because genuinely I am really okay most of the time, but this might help to explain that. So I'm just going to go through it, guys, and with the aid of my little notes, and I hope you'll stick around and hear the whole story, right? So and don't think this is a sympathy video, because it really isn't. I don't need anybody's sympathy for anything. This is just trying to explain it, and typically somebody starts using a strimmer just as you're about to do something, but I'm suspecting you can probably hear this over the top. Right, so I'm going to cast my mind back to March the 17th, St. Patrick's Day in 2003. I was 37 years old. Now, on this particular evening, I went for a drink at my local. I was living in my static caravan at the time, and I went to a drink. Now, I hadn't had a drink for 6 weeks up until that point. The reason for that was because I had pancreas damage due to many years of heavy drinking. So for 6 weeks I hadn't had a drink, and this particular Sunday night, St. Patrick's Day, I thought I'll go out to the local pub, as you do, and things, but I still wasn't feeling quite right, so I ordered a half a pint of beer. Lager, if I remember rightly. It was lager. After about 3 sips whilst I was in the pub, I started to feel really hot, really panicky. I don't even think I need these notes. Really hot, really panicky. Now, panic for me was not an unusual thing. For many years, since the age of probably 13, 14, I've suffered with anxiety attacks. I've learnt to live with them. I don't hardly ever have them now, and it's all good. But so I'm trying to make the point that panicking at that time was not something that was unusual. But I was really hot and really sweating, and something wasn't right, but I didn't know what was right. Anyway, the old fight or flight took over. I left the pub. I hadn't even drunk that half pint. I drank maybe half of the half. I walked out of the pub, got just round the corner. It was about 100 yards to my caravan, because my caravan was on a site behind a pub, which I did some work for and all sorts of other things, but never mind that. I walked around and I got a whack right there on the right hand side of my chest, and it was painful, but I held on to the wall, and then I carried on round to my caravan. I got inside my caravan, and the pain was increasing. Now, I didn't think in my wildest dreams it was anything to do with a heart attack. I was 37, and I was just basically thinking, what have I done? You know, is this 6 weeks no drinking, and then suddenly, you know, half of a half was something, I don't know. I was going a little bit like in my head. I would say I was panicking, I was nervous. I should point out that for 2 to 3 weeks prior to that, I'd been getting dull aches in this arm and in this arm, yeah, and apparently that's not the normal to get him in both arms for heart attacks. Usually this arm. I think it's this arm anyway. But anyway, so nothing was leading me to heart attack, but there were these symptoms in my arms of. But I thought I'd been overdoing it, climbing up and down onto the truck to get, to unload and stuff. As you do, you're pulling yourself up and all the rest of it. But that's what I thought anyway. But this pain got worse and worse and worse, and it was quite excruciating in my chest. Well, in that part right there. Yeah. I did nothing about it for about half an hour or so. I was very anxious, but I called out what was where we lived in Kent was the Southeast Doctor, which is a little doctor who's on call, and he comes out in the thing. I called him out. He came up with the emergency lights going and all the rest of it, and it turned out to be my local GP that was on call, who I had a very fractious relationship with at the best of times. I didn't like the man. I don't think he liked me. End of. But anyway, he came out and he said I had food poisoning. Yeah, or he thought it was food poisoning. Now, what he should have done and all the rest of it is besides the point. I've since found out he should have sent me to hospital without a shadow of a doubt with chest pains and called an ambulance. He didn't. I didn't do it either. So, it is what it is. He told me when he left that if the pain got any worse, to call an ambulance. I then tried to go to bed. No chance, absolutely no chance. At one point I was actually hitting my head on the caravan walls, believe it or not, to take the pain away from here. Anyway, 4 hours went past. I called a good friend of mine. She came round and said, well, what do you want to do? I kept saying I don't want to waste an ambulance, and it was a bit stupid, being a silly martyr. I should have called an ambulance, I didn't. Anyway, sorry, getting back to the point. I drove myself to the hospital 4 hours later. Yeah, with one arm like this. Stupid twat that I am. Yeah. I drove myself to the hospital. Immediately, once I was in there, they did an ECG. I was rushed into resus. I was having a heart attack. And quite a major one at that time. A myocardial infarction, I do believe they call it. Anyway, I was having this thing. I then genuinely absolutely pooed my pants because there was a lady standing over me with paddles and all sorts, and oh god, I was begging them not to let me die and all kinds of other things. But anyway, cut a long story short, I was in hospital for 8 days. Yeah, and when I was released, I was told I was to have a stent fitted. I'd had, ECGs. They'd been inside me with a camera and everything. I forget what that's called, but they said I needed a stent fitted. So I was going to have this stent fitted. So anyway, I left. I was on the waiting list. Yeah, my breathing in that time was quite bad. They tested me for asthma. They tested me for various different things because I kept going to the doctors about my breathing, but it turned out that one of the things that was making it worse was a pill called atenolol. They took me off that, and it did improve a bit, not 100%, but it improved a bit. But I was left with quite a bit of damage to my heart. My heart was damaged beyond 10% of irreparable damage, the actual muscle itself. I know this because I received a critical illness payment, and that was the criteria. You had to reach that criteria to get paid out. I got paid out on a policy that I took out, and I received this filter. So I know that it killed off more than 10% of my heart. I need to speed this up because these cameras might not last. From there, yeah, so my breathing's always been bad. I was also left with what they termed as at the time as a reverse heartbeat, where if you look at the ECG graph, they normally it's like that, isn't it? And there's a baseline here. Well, every now and again mine goes down. Every so many beats it goes down, and I'm pretty sure they called it a reverse heartbeat. Whether that's anything to do with this breathlessness, I don't know. But anyway, I was told basically this is as good as it's going to get once they got me sorted with the medication. A year went past, and I had a review with my specialist, who I hadn't seen before that year because she went off and had a baby. Not her fault, brilliant, and I love that woman, Dr. Jane Fisher. She is an absolute star. She asked me how my stent was going. I said I hadn't had it because I hadn't heard anything. She went absolutely mad, throwing all kinds of really bad language down the phone at whoever it was she spoke to. Next day I was in King's College and I had the first of what is now 3 stents. I had the stents fitted. They were what's the word? I can't think of it. I was on a drug trial basically. I was one of the first people to have this stent fitted that emitted a cholesterol busting drug coming out of the stent on a slow release thing. And I was on this trial for 5 years, where I had to report any side effects and all the rest of it. But to be quite honest with you, they contacted me once and that was all I ever heard from them. And they are now the stents that most people have fitted. I've even got 2 more of them myself. So now I need my bullet point because I've gone right off. Where was I? I also have angina-like symptoms that are slightly strange. I can't use that, you know, the GTN spray. I have tried, yeah, and I was in Southampton train station and it put me clean on my arse the minute I sprayed it under my tongue. I can't use it. I just and the thought of it, that happening again, terrifies me. So I don't use the GTN spray, but I do get angina type symptoms. Have done for what is now coming on 22 years. I've learned to deal with them, learned to just ignore them. I had no intention of doing YouTube videos where I've been walking up hills and, you know, getting stuck down little lanes and things like that. So I just want to make sure that I've covered everything. In 2015 I had another heart attack, which was different symptoms again. So I want to bring this to people's attention just to say that they're not all the same. You don't all get the same heart attack things. By that time I'd given up smoking, I'd given up drinking with the help of a rehab clinic. I am an alcoholic. There is, you know, that's out there. Everyone knows that who watches the channel, or most of you do. I went into rehab. I was not cured because there is no cure for alcoholism, yeah, but I was put on the road to recovery, and every day I'm on the recovery. That was 12 years ago. Anyway, but in 2015 I had a heart attack, and that started with an indigestion-like feeling in my neck, which slowly over the course of a few hours went down between my shoulder blades. Yeah, no pains in the arms, no nothing. I was taken into hospital. This time I did ring up. I rang the ambulance and got a fire engine, which was quite embarrassing because most of the firemen on there were my friends who came in the house. Anyway, they then called an ambulance, and then I got an ambulance to hospital. Cut long story short, was in hospital again for another 7 days, 8 days. I can't remember exactly how long. And that was a minor heart attack. They didn't change anything. They just sent me up, and I went straight from that hospital to have another 2 stents fitted, which were done. So that's the story of the heart thing. That's why I breathe as badly as I do. I will point out that I do believe that me and Lorna both had, back in 2020, COVID. Yeah, and that it's left us with this permanent sniffing. We both had to just do it. Permanent sniffing and permanent breathing out weird. I'm not, no conspiracy here or anything like that. I just think that's what's happened, because I didn't used to do that all the time, but now I can't seem to stop myself sniffing. Lorna's the same, and I breathe out weirdly, a bit too fast and a bit too thing. That could be the heart thing, I don't know. I'm being brutally honest with you guys. I'm not a doctor. I don't know these things, but you'll hear me going. I breathe out too much and then take a big gulp of air. That's just what I've taught myself to do, and it's probably wrong, but it's what I do. I don't know how to stop it. All right, so I'm sorry that annoys people on the videos. It annoys the hell out of me. I try for hours on end to take most of it out, not successfully, obviously. And basically, yeah, I just wanted to use my best efforts to try and explain what possibly could be this. I was going to do this big elaborate video, walk all around this place and, you know, do all that. There's no need. I'm talking to you guys who've been with us, most of you have been with us for a long time now, 2.5 years of living in this van, touring around the UK, and we appreciate that so much. And I'm talking to you guys but to try and help you explain, and to anybody new that might come across this, because after the video getting stuck down the lane, which I'm going to explain in a minute a little bit to try and defend myself, we got some, yeah, they're not nasty comments. Well, some were nasty, but I just laughed them off, you know. But we got a lot about my health, especially my health. So I wanted to explain with my best efforts, and I hope I've done this. I say this is not a sympathy video, it's not clickbait, it's not thing, it's just me sitting down talking to you guys like I do quite often when I'm walking around. Maybe you can tell me, am I on camera too much? Maybe, you know, I am, and you want to see more of the actual surroundings. I don't know. Anyway, what's the word? I've always been an attention seeker. But no. Sorry, I'm trying to think. It's hard. This is a hard video to make. Very hard video to make. But moving on. So I made a couple of bullet points for this too, and it won't take me long, I promise. It's called the lane situation. Right. My fault. No excuses. Yeah. Not enough research. Simple as, right? Absolutely spot on. All you people that gave me a bit of a dig, quite rightly, I deserved that. But let me point out that whilst following the CL advice that they give you on the CL site that said once you turn left, turn right, yeah, and the sat-nav agreeing with what the CL was saying, only it was the wrong right turn. The actual right turn was 100 yards further up there. Yeah, I turned into that road. I don't need bullet points for this either. I turned into that road, which looked a very normal top of the lane type of road. Yeah, lots of parked cars. Now, thought did cross my mind, should I turn round and all the rest of it, but there's nowhere to turn round, so I had to unhook the car and then reverse out into the main road. Yeah, which is what happened on the day after we got stuck in the bushes and everything. I had to do that anyway, but so I opted, like an idiot, to carry on, and I carried on, and once you got down, started going down the hill like this, it then became apparent this was a country lane and not a very nice road. It's also called Bastard Lane, believe it or not, and I know why now. Anyway, I went down, but we were making it. Yeah, there was a few branches scraping on the sides of the vans and everything, but nothing too bad. But we went round a few bends, yeah, as we done, complacent as ever, because I'm an idiot, like we were doing in Scotland all over the place. Most of you guys saw us going down some tight little roads and all that. It was just like that. But we went round one particular bend and there was mud all over the road, properly all over the road, and we just started sliding and wheel spinning and weren't getting nowhere. It was also on a slight gradient. This thing, old Effie here, she will spin on me spitting in the front of the tyres, believe it or not. She's ridiculously thing. She's very back heavy, and the front, you know, is very light. So we started spinning and we just weren't getting anywhere. So we made the decision to unhook the car and try and reverse out, yeah, which we did, but we just kept sliding into the bushes. Yeah, we were reversing into the bushes. We got stuck in a bush. Lorna was at the back. Yes, walkie-talkies would have been a great idea, or even our phones. Why I didn't think of that, I don't know. In the heat of the moment, your mind's panicking. You're in a lane. You're waiting for a car to come down behind you and go beep beep beep, move the fuck out of the way, and all the rest of it. I started panicking, so we started reversing. I was in the bushes. Yeah. Getting through the bushes, I couldn't hear Lorna shouting at me, and I was ripping the van a bit up, ripping the van apart a bit. We did get out. It took over an hour. We did get out. I made the mistake of going down there, but it's a mistake that anyone could and will make at some point when they're driving a motorhome, because this in no way looked like a don't go down there road, not at the very top. And when by the very top, I mean the first 50 metres, yeah. But in that 50 metres, there was nowhere to turn round. It would have been drop the car and reverse out onto the main road. So that's why I made that decision. Yes, I feel stupid. So we made a video, as usual, showing the ups and downs of us as full-time van lifers. This is what we do. We've always done this for you guys and for us. We make the videos for us as well, believe it or not, to show our family and to remember when I've got my Alzheimer's coming in years to come. I won't remember nothing. I want to be able to remember this. So there's no apology for that being this way with things. We never seek drama. We never make clickbait videos, because that's not us. You know, some titles you can't help but be a bit clickbaity, but we show you what happens to us. And that's all we can do, really, to be fair. Our little community that watch us, you're helpful, nice people who we appreciate so much. And I'm sure you appreciate us not making clickbaity, drama-led videos. I'm not going into things. That's why we don't get many views. And this video's got views because it's got some drama in it. Drama sells on YouTube, and don't some channels cash in on it? My God, the amount of people that apparently have been robbed when somebody's brushed against their van is ridiculous. I was hoping this video would make me not look the idiot that I feel. Yeah, and showing my stupidity. Yeah, but it's probably not going to have that effect. It'll probably bring the trolls out even more. But we really don't need unhelpful comments. As I said, our little community that watch us, I think are quite glad we don't make clickbaity, drama-seeking videos. We will always be brutally honest, and for that I make no apology. I don't think we need to. So really, that's all I wanna put, really. Just to say a massive thank you for all the new subscribers that came, and hopefully you didn't subscribe just to see me be an idiot again. But thank you to everyone for all the support all over this, not just this mishap, but for 2.5 years. You guys have been amazing. We love you guys so much. You are so important to us that we don't say it enough. We can't say it out without sounding cheesy and stupid, but you are very important to us. You know, everyone wants to be liked. We can't all be liked, but you know, there's a lot of people don't like me, that's for certain, and that's fine. You know, it's just the way it is. But I'm going off on a tangent, so I hope this has helped to clear up a little bit about my health, and to be brutally honest about my idiot behaviour going down that lane. But there was some slight, albeit small, justification for why I carried on down the lane. Not why I went there in the first place. No excuse for that at all. Should have looked on the map and gone, I'm sure it's that one up there, which it was. It was the 100 yards further up. A costly mistake, no doubt. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that's enough of my waffle, and it's come over all overcast again. So we're gonna see you in the next one. Thanks for watching this. I hope I don't come out of this even worse. If I do, my own stupid fault yet again. See you in the next one. Bye for now.
Can still take flight, although you're earthbound.